Hi kids, welcome to today's lesson. So remember last time we talked about how Babylon came to Jerusalem and they took over Jerusalem, and what happened was some people in Jerusalem, the youngest and cleverest men, the most skilled workers and the treasures of the temple were taken away, and they were taken captive, and they were taken to Babylon. But some people were left behind, and the people who are left behind kept on telling themselves, we're going to be fine, we're going to break free, and the captives will come back. And even though Jeremiah was telling them the truth, that they will be captives and it will take 70 years before anyone can come back, and that they should stay and serve under the rule of Babylon and obey King Nebuchadnezzar, they didn't want to hear the truth because it was a hard truth and they didn't want to believe it. So now let's see what happens next to the people of Jerusalem. So the people who are left behind had convinced themselves that God was happy with them because they were left behind. They were allowed to stay in their own land. So they thought that God was happy with them, those ones that he had left to stay behind, and that he was angry with the ones who had been taken away to Babylon. But in truth, the people who had gone to Babylon had learned their lesson, and they had begun to trust and obey God again. And one day God spoke to Jeremiah and he told him, "Look at the figs that are outside the temple. What do you think?" And Jeremiah looked at the figs, and then he said, "Well, the first basket of figs has figs that are ripe and look delicious and ready to eat. But the next basket of figs has figs that are rotten and look horrible and that you would not want anyone to eat." And God said, "The people of Jerusalem are like these figs. The people that have been taken away to Babylon are like the ripe figs, the ones that are in the nice basket, the ripe figs, the ones that are ready to be eaten. They are the people who have been taken away. Those people have learned to trust and to obey me, and I will take care of them and I will keep them safe, and then I will one day bring them back to their land again. But the people who have remained in Jerusalem are like the rotten figs. They are bad through and through. They have decided to stay in their bad ways and stay in their lies, and they have decided to never turn back to me. And just like the rotten figs, they are not fit to stay there." So now Jeremiah understood that the people who had stayed behind and avoided the punishment were the ones who are not fit to stay there any longer. But the ones who had gone to Babylon and their life had been turned upside down and they had become the captives were the ones that God was going to save, and God was going to keep safe, and God was going to protect, because they had learned their lesson and had decided to turn back to God. So children, sometimes the punishments that we get are so hard and so difficult for us. But it's important that we go through those punishments, because without them, we would stay in the bad ways and we would never learn to turn back and do the right thing. Just like the people who went to Babylon and became captives, they turned back to God, and now God was going to protect them. So now it's time for us to sing our song. So everyone stand up and help me sing this song. Okay kids, it's time to sing our song. But before we sing our song, we're going to say hi to Tasha. Tasha, say hi.
Hi.
Okay, so Tasha is here to help us sing our song today. Now our song is about God's love. Now we've just learned that even though sometimes our punishments can be hard and difficult, they still take us to a better place. And during our punishments, God is still with us because he loves us so much. Everyone stand up and help us sing this song about God's love. God's love is like a rainbow colorful. God's love is like a rainbow colorful, a rainbow colorful, a rainbow colorful, colorful, a rainbow colorful.
ocean deep and wide. God's love is like an ocean deep and wide, an ocean deep and wide, an ocean deep and wide, deep and wide, an ocean deep and wide. God's love is like a mountain steep and high. God's love is like a mountain steep and high, a mountain steep and high, a mountain steep and high, steep and high, a mountain steep and high. God's love is like a rainbow colorful. God's love is like a rainbow colorful, a rainbow colorful, a rainbow colorful.
Okay kids, it's time for us to do our craft. Now we've just learned that the people who were taken out of Jerusalem and they were taken all the way to Babylon and became captives, that those were the people who God said were like the ripe figs, the ones that were delicious and ready to eat, the ones that God would keep safe, God would protect, care for, and bring them back to the home again. And those are the figs that we need to be like. So even though the people who were taken to Babylon were given a punishment and it was hard and it was difficult, they learned their lesson and now they were in a better place. But the ones who stayed behind stayed exactly where they were and never learned to turn back to God, to love and trust and respect Him. So we are going to make a basket of ripe figs. And whenever we see this basket, we'll remember that we need to be like those ripe figs. Even though we had to go through punishment, when we come out on the other side, we come out better, even though it's hard. So what we have here is we have manila paper that we've cut up into the shape of figs, and we've colored them purple, and these are going to be our figs. And then we have different strips of paper, different strips of colorful paper, and this paper we're going to use it to make the basket. So first of all, I want you to take your figs and I want you to color them. So I'm going to color these figs of mine purple so they all match. Now, on these figs is where we're going to write our lesson for today. So today we learned that sometimes punishments can be hard, but we need to go through them so we can get to a better place, just like the people who became captives in Babylon. So our story comes from Jeremiah chapter 24. So on one fig, chapter 24. And on the same fig, we're going to write, sometimes punishments are hard. But it brings us to a better place. And remember, we need to be in a better place so that we can learn to come back to God and love and serve and obey Him. So once we've written that down, I need you to put away your figs and then take your strips of paper. And this is what we're going to use to make our basket. So first of all, I want you to make a star shape. So now once we have our star, I need you to actually glue and stick this star shape down. So I need you to find the center of your papers. So we'll just take all of these papers, align them and make them straight, then fold them in half. Okay, so once we folded our papers in half, the half will give us the center of the papers. So I want you to take the first paper and place it down. Then from the center of the paper, I want you to take your next strip of paper, put glue, right here at the center. And then stick it down right at the center of your first paper. Then we'll do, okay. Then now that we've glued all of these pieces down together, we're going to take a stapler just so that everything can be stable and put together so that nothing comes apart. So take the stapler and lift up the entire star shape that we have just created and staple it at the center. Okay, so now that we've stapled it at the center, everything is together. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a circle, that is a ring that is going to go at the top of our basket, and this is where we're going to connect each of these tips so that we can have an actual basket. So take another strip of paper and create a circle, then glue it together. Okay, then next thing we're going to do is we're going to take each of these strips of paper and we're going to glue each of them. So we'll lift a strip of paper and lift it until we get a full circle. So we'll start with the top side, the first strip of paper that gave us our cross, glue and stick it. So we're going to glue and stick each of these pieces. We'll do the same thing on the other side. And once you have each of these pieces stuck together, you have the bottom half of a basket. So next thing we're going to do is we need to get the top half of our basket. Then we can fill these baskets with the figs that we have created. So you can take a piece of paper, or you can take ribbon or anything that you want to use as your handle for the basket. Then on one side, just take the handle and staple it to the basket we've just made. Then do the same thing on the edge of the other side. And there we go, we have our basket. Now the only thing missing is our figs. So we'll take our figs, the ripe figs. Remember, we need to be like the ripe figs, the ones that went to Babylon and were in captivity, and they learned to trust and obey God again. So just put all of the figs inside the basket. And the last fig we put in is the fig that tells us where we can find this story. So there we go. This is our craft for today, and that has been our lesson for today. So whenever we look at this, we remember that we need to be like the ripe figs. So this is our craft, and this has been our lesson for today. So until next time, bye!